to day 4 of the 12 days of anime. So let's begin. Just jump right in. So on the 4th day of anime, true love gave to me Lee and Gaara for the fight between Lee and Gaara from Naruto. This took place in the Chunin exam arc, where they had to do a series of tests and exams. One was a written exam, see how it was a very, very hard exam, and they were told not to cheat at all. And if they were caught cheating, then they were immediately kicked out. But the problem is, no one knew the answers to the questions, and the people were people around, like the actual staff who were trying to see if people were cheating. They had the answers right in front of them, and they were actually examining if people could cheat without being caught. And I thought that was genius. And the other exam is the Forest of Death, which was the examinees were put into a forest that was filled with other ninjas who they had to kill, and they had to get 2 scrolls. And if the people who didn't get the scrolls, or if the people who didn't make it on time, and another team got the scroll, another squad got the scroll, then they were kicked out, and they couldn't become Chunin. And the third one, which was my favorite, was the actual like fighting. This was in a small stadium, and it was with the other successful examinees who got the scroll, who successfully passed the exam, and they were put into a small arena. They were put into a large arena, actually. A large arena, not like a coliseum, where they had to fight. It was randomly selected, but each squad had to fight and represent one squad. And if the one representer who was representing the said squad lost, then the whole squad were kicked out and couldn't become Chunin that year. That was very juicy, I could tell. And there were numerous fights in that exam that were my favorite. But the number one thing that sticked out from the entire crowd was definitely the fight between Gaara and Rock Lee. Because they were sort of evenly matched when looking at the fight. So this is basically what happened. In the beginning of the fight, Rock Lee and Gaara, they're both testing each other. They were both teasing each other, and Gaara didn't even like. He was in this motion all times. He was just bored, like, is this real? Why am I here? This is pathetic. And then Rock Lee doing his hardest, to fight back and trying to win until he finally was like, enough of this. He took off his weights from his legs, and those weights were insanely heavy from the looks of it. When it dropped, a whole rocks are exploding as soon as the weights even fell on the ground with that much force in it, exerting onto concrete. And then after his really heavy weights were taken off, then he became a demon, a fast demon. He was like speeding all around. No, he wasn't. He was not seen. He was not seen at all. Like he was seen like slightly, as soon as very slightly, like he was seen like punching, and Rock Lee couldn't even see him. The sand couldn't even keep up. But as soon he was like punching and and kicking and stuff like that until he used the primary lotus, which is he kicked Rock Lee with his foot up in the air, used lots of like motions to kick him until what was it? Until he wrapped around the wish. Yeah, no. That wasn't it. That was hidden lotus. This is primary lotus. This gets a lot of strain on the body because he's using only taijutsu, and it's very tough when compared to using something like ninjutsu or genjutsu. He was like I said, he was kicking repeatedly Gaara in the chest until he finally grabbed him. Threw him upside down, twisted, and then crashed into the ground. But that wasn't enough because his shell, actually not his shell, when he was hit, sorry about that. When he was hit into the ground, he used substitution jutsu, and people when they looked at Gaara, it just looked like a shell of sand, a very sturdy shell of sand had been like broken off. And then when Gaara like grows up, it gets out from like the concrete, like the sand. His shell, his like armor was like completely like almost broken off, and you could see his real self. You could see his real self until the sand slowly goes into him, and then he back to his unexpression face, crossing his hands to signify that he's pretty bored with his fight, and he could easily knock Gaara like that, not Gaara, Rock Lee like that, and then finally, Rock Lee, he uses the gates. He first opens up the 5th gate, which is the gate of life, the 4th gate, which is the gate of pain, and he releases it, and then he unleashes on Gaara. He was a demon. I'm not even joking. His skin was like bubbling off, and he looked like a demon who came from the depth of the underneath. He was knocking Gaara. Everyone was shocked, and I mean everyone, including me. I wasn't in the arena, but if I was there, I would run out of my life because of it. And not only that, the entire arena was almost destroyed because of that fight. And finally, Rock Lee kicked Gaara into the air, and then knocked him series like Dragon Ball Z style fights, and then finally punched him in the chest while he was his armband was tied to Gaara. Pulls the pulls the armband, and then finally one punch into the chest, and then he uses that's when he uses Hidden Lotus, And then finally, the last blow comes. But the problem is with the Hidden Lotus and the gates releasing, it uses a massive strain. Unlike the primary Lotus, which uses a ton of strain on the body, especially using Taijutsu. This one, however, it could almost kill him. In extreme cases, however. Although. And it was insane to watch. But, unfortunately, he didn't, he was still conscious, Gara, until, when he hit the floor. And then, Rock Lee, he was still alive. You know, he was still surviving. He could barely stand. He could barely crawl, let alone stand. Until Gara, like, on the floor, he signaled the sand to grab Rock Lee, but he only grabbed his arm and leg. He only grabbed his leg and arm, and then he uses what's called a sand something, I forgot, crushing both his muscles and his bones. He was bleeding. He was complete like blood everywhere. I was surprised he was even alive. And it was crazy to see. Everyone was shocked by that, even me. So that's why this is my fourth favorite moment. I had to choose between the Shippuden and Naruto. I just chose Naruto because of nostalgia, and because this is my favorite scene of the entire series. This is an amazing scene. I've watched the entire series of Naruto, including the filler, by the way. The filler was pretty good, honestly. Some people give it a negative opinion because it's filler and doesn't serve any purpose. The real Naruto ends in episode 65. I think. I may be wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. And yeah, I've watched the entire filler. I don't regret watching the filler, by the way. And I would recommend this series, no doubt. This is one of the best series I've ever watched. This is the best series. Oh, this is one of the best series I've watched. Best anime I've watched in my life. So that concludes day 4 of the 12 days of anime. Stay tuned to day 5, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.